Dr. Ramona, welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, this is not the first time that you're here for the Lit Fest. You've been here before as well.
I've been here once before.
Right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what's special this time around.
I think I was here when it first started. That would have been around 4 years back, since this is the fourth edition. And I see it's grown much bigger, far bigger.
Correct.
Than when it first began. And when we first sat here, we had a very small audience in our sessions, although the evenings were quite packed. But I see it's bigger, it's grown, and I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Fair enough. Just for the benefit of the viewers, how would you describe your writing style?
I think matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like to use too much language which is flowery or which is exaggerated. I prefer to use language which is crisp and to the point. So I guess each person has their own style, and I'm more comfortable with that.
And why so? Because you're talking about culture and heritage. I'm not an author myself, so I really would know the answer to it. When you write something like that, it's understood that there's a lot of research that goes into coming up with a book, etc. How do you even start? I mean,
you start with what you want to write, basically, and what has driven me towards writing the kind of books that I've written, 2, 3 actually,
right.
And then a few chapters here and there. Basically, it's always been an urge for authenticity that has driven me towards writing in a way that, and in any case, I haven't written any fiction yet, although maybe one day I will.
Right.
But for now, whatever I've written, especially about culture and heritage, has been mostly factual.
Right.
And my research work has also been to authenticate the fact and write down the facts, write down how it's actually practiced and the meanings behind it, so that those questions about why certain things are done, certain things are practiced, are answered. So
heritage and culture in the Northeast is vast. It's so vast. So when you write, how do you do justice to each and every aspect? Because once you put information out there, you will get like a lot of people talking about it, etc. etc. How do you feel that you do justice to a certain piece of information when it's out there?
See, that's the reason why I stick on to a culture which I'm most familiar with.
Correct.
I wouldn't dare to go into cultures which I'm not familiar with, or which the essence of which I'm not very familiar with, or I don't have any kind of a detailed answer. So I stick to what I feel I know best. And if there's something that I do not know or which I'd like to learn further, then obviously it's my job to ask questions, it's my job to find out. So it's a learning process. You don't stop learning. And the moment you think that you know all,
very true.
That's where your failure begins.
Correct. Dr. Ramona, let's talk a little bit about one of your books, Warangala, right? So let's talk a little bit about it. What can the readers expect out of the book?
The reason, actually, I'll just tell you briefly. The reason why I wrote the book was because I had too many of my own people, sometimes friends, at other times relatives, asking me for information on the Warangala. And I had to do a lot of, work in trying to get them the right kind of information. So one fine day it struck me, I said, why not write a book rather than, having to answer all these questions so that they can have the book, they can read it and they can get their answers there. So it was easy for me, it was easy for them. And of course, it took me about a year or two, I think, to get all the information and to work on it. And of course, with great photographers who I collaborated with, they had their collection of over 10, 15 years of photos.
Right.
And those are photos which are authentic. They are not set up photos that have been set.
Right.
So that way I was lucky. I had the cooperation of so many people, whoever I approached. So that came about beautifully. And I'm glad to say that it's turned out to be a useful book,
Right.
especially for students or for people who'd like to know a little about Warangala and not just Warangala, the festival, but then the entire
Background and context.
And the process of how it culminates into that. Yeah.
Right. Dr. Ramona, before the interview, we spoke about the reading culture. I want you to dwell a little bit on it because 21st century, I won't even say the future is digital because now is digital.
Yeah.
What do you reckon of the reading culture, especially amongst the youth?
I've just recently joined a book club with very few members called the Tura Book Club,
Okay.
which was not quite surprisingly started by a group of very young people.
Very nice.
Okay, and it's in fact they who are encouraging us to read a book a week, and then have a discussion on it. So that is very encouraging. That I think is a very pleasant way of beginning a reading culture. So, and as for children, I think it has to do with the parents and the teachers.
Very important.
That culture that replace your smartphone with perhaps a book, illustrative book or something that
True.
catches their imagination. So I think it has to begin in the home. We can't just blame our gadgets.
Right. So, I know that you're more into non-fiction.
Yeah.
What is one book that everyone should read and why, Dr. Ramona?
What is one book that I think right now, if we had this listing book that was launched yesterday,
Right.
and that is our little contribution, little contribution to the state, to the government. And that I think is one of the documents that should be a must-have for all departments, especially. Okay, because it has a list of all the beautiful homes which eventually we may not see anymore around Shillong, and it gives a lot of details about those various sites of real cultural and heritage significance, the natural sites. So as of now, I think that is a very important book.
Fair enough. My last question to you, Dr. Ramona, is you know what? At the moment, when we speak of culture and heritage, of course, it's if it's in danger. What are the few steps that we could do at our level to help preserve what we have, our custom, tradition, etc.?
Formally, I guess something that we in Intact try to promote, those heritage clubs in schools. That's a good step.
That's a good initiative.
Yeah, that's a very good initiative. And it doesn't matter what the culture is. It just has to be something that is a culture, a practice.
Right.
And it needn't be your own culture, it needn't be, there shouldn't be any kind of differentiation that way. So I think in schools, in institutions, when we have these clubs, and then I think for the younger people, when they have these cultural nights and they dress up, in their traditional garments, that I think,
Correct.
creates a lot of interest and it catches their attention. Young girls obviously enjoy wearing, garments of any kind and something like that. So, using ideas to imbibe culture into activities or to include them in fun activities for the younger lot. that I think will go a long way in ensuring that the culture and the heritage continues and it lives on.
I believe in what you just said because it's just the right approach
Yeah.
all the time. Dr. Ramona, what an insightful conversation. Thank you so much for your
you.
time and
Thank you.
enjoy your stay while you're around.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.